The Aryan Brotherhood of Mississippi was formed in 1984, roughly 2 decades after the foundation of the original Aryan Brotherhood in California. As such, the ABM modeled itself after the pre-existing gangs of the same name in California and Texas, but took on its own values and symbolism. For instance, the ABM adopted a paramilitary structure with captains, lieutenants, sergeant-at-arms, soldiers, and prospects, as well as a governing body known as the Wheel, which consisted of 3 generals known as spokes. The spokes were generally incarcerated, but not always, as Joseph Brandon Creel was serving as an out-of-custody spoke in December 2010, when these aforementioned events took place. The ABM was founded in the Mississippi Department of Corrections, which for years has maintained one of the most violent, corrupt, and underfunded state prison systems that attracts the ire of the Department of Justice during both Republican and Democratic administrations. Over the years, the ABM's presence expanded from prisons across the entire state of Mississippi, as the gang became the premier choice for white inmates and as some of its members were paroled. After gaining a presence throughout the Mississippi free world, the ABM divided geographically by northern, central, and southern Mississippi, with each of the 3 spokes in the wheel taking responsibility for one of the zones. Regardless of whether a spoke controls the north, central, or south, an order from him is to be obeyed by any ABM member without question. The Aryan Brotherhood of Mississippi embraces many slogans, colors, and symbols. They display the number 13, signifying the letter M for Mississippi. Their main patch has changed 4 times, but generally includes an amalgamation of the letters A and B in a way that could easily confuse people who are unfamiliar with it. Like many Aryan Brotherhood gangs, this symbol is known as a brand when tattooed. Within the ABM is something of an elite squad, known as the Thunder Warriors, who signify their status by receiving a brand of lightning bolts, typically on a Thunder Warrior's neck. ABM members become Thunder Warriors by committing multiple acts of violence that have been confirmed by witnesses. Although, as we'll explore, having multiple witnesses to their violent crimes hasn't always worked out too well. The ABM likes blue, gold and silver, black, and blue and red combined, with each color scheme representing something different. Blue and red are the gang's battle colors. Blue alone represents the blue blood upper echelon of the ABM. Gold and silver tie back to their belief in a strong Aryan nation, and black represents their uniform colors. They've taken on slogans like, "Where Aryan boots thread, there will be respect or bloodshed," as well as, "From man to man, from brother to brother, together in battle, for a cause." They also use as a slogan the name of an Irish nationalist political party, Sinn Féin, translated roughly as, "We ourselves alone." The ABM also has a 5-step secret handshake for its members to learn and perform on one another. They sometimes refer to themselves as the family, and members on the outside meet up once weekly for meetings known as church. Incarcerated ABM spokes generally use cell phones smuggled into prison to communicate, and did so with enough ease that it never seemed to be a problem. If you would have liked to have joined the ABM, you must have proved yourself worthy through more than just violence. Prospects are quizzed with questions like, do you believe in death before dishonor? Could you use terrorist tactics to teach someone a lesson? Do you believe that a government ran by the minority would be better or worse than the present world? If, after you are released, you are ordered to terminate another person, could you do so without any explanation or hesitation? There is also a general belief within the ABM that racial separatism or being pro-segregation is different from racism, though they are well aware that most people do not distinguish between the two, nor do they care to dignify such a distinction. A prospect begins his journey by reading a letter asking them to pledge their life and maybe die for the cause of white supremacy. It's too long to recite the entire thing, but here's a small taste. Dear prospect, you stand forewarned of an increasing risk to you. Should you not be selected to be promoted to brother status, you shall remain under an oath of secrecy upon penalty of death if you ever reveal any of your knowledge to anyone. If acceptance is not given to you, don't lose heart. keep faith in white supremacy in the future of the Aryan cause. The Aryan cause goes deeper than you can imagine or what you shall learn in the short time given. We must be sure that those chosen will all follow Aryan heritage and have a pure and sincere heart. For members who disobey orders or gang rules, there are various forms of discipline. These can include minutes, meaning 2 minutes of fighting with 2 other ABM members, or the Thunderdome, where a whole pile of members basically dogpile and assault you. There's also the smash on sight, which can range from a brutal assault to actually burning or carving off a member's tattoo, or a kill on sight, which seems pretty self-explanatory. They also have a designated treasurer to keep track of the gang's coffers, most of which are funded by the sale of crystal meth. While there is evidence the ABM has connections in California and other states, much of their methamphetamine was self-produced, thanks to relatively lax laws in adjacent states that allowed for the bulk purchases of precursors. Most of these drugs were sold within Mississippi, which has consistently been one of the poorest states in America. It should also be noted that during the early 2010s, the ABM was attempting to parlay with the California Aryan Brotherhood to arrange some type of unification, which would have required the ABM to adopt a new constitution and symbols, though it doesn't appear to have gone through.